Hello everyone and welcome to your first grade crayon techniques video. So I want you guys to follow along with me, making sure that you are paying attention to each one of these coloring techniques as they will be important to your drawings. So we're going to start with outline and fill in. So outlining and filling in is something that you learn back in kindergarten. So this is something that we build on every year. Maybe you weren't with us in kindergarten. That's okay. We're going to learn how to do it now. So what I'm doing is I'm starting by coloring in the background of my picture. The background is whatever is the farthest away or what's going on behind my details. I'm going to just guess about here would be the top of where my picture would go. And I'm going to color all the way to my edge. So once you have that area outlined, you're going to go back in and you're going to carefully fill in that space. Notice how I'm going back and forth. I have my helper hand here holding my paper so it doesn't bend or buckle. And there we go. I've colored in my sky. But wait, there's more. Notice how back here it says 2 colors. So using 2 colors means that you're going to be doing this thing called layering or blending in your outline and fill in. Let's come back to this and talk about what layering and blending look like. So layering is when you take 2 colors and you put them right on top of each other. So here I have a light blue and it's literally the same color as my sky. If I wanted to layer in my sky, I would take a different color, either a color that's darker or lighter, and I'd layer it or put it overlapping or on top of the first color. So that's what it would look like by using 2 different colors, one lighter and one darker. If I wanted to blend, again, I would start with one color. I'm using my helper hand to hold my paper. And then I could take one color, darker colors go on the bottom of an area, and lighter colors go on the top. So what I could do is I could start really, really hard. Notice how it's really dark there because I'm pressing hard on my crayon. And then I'm getting a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, and a little bit lighter until I'm barely tickling my paper. And look how it goes from dark to light. I can do that now in my sky. So I'm going to do some blending in my sky, meaning that I'm going to outline around the bottom of my area because we learned that darker colors go on the bottom and lighter colors go on the top. So I'm outlining around my trees again, and then I'm going to go really, really hard at the bottom and then get a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, and a little bit lighter. And I'm going to do it again in the next area where it's dark at the bottom and a little bit lighter at the top, showing that it's darker and then gets a little bit lighter is the difference between the layering and the blending. Blending goes from dark to light or light to dark, and layering is just 2 colors put on top of each other. There is a bit of a difference, and you could always go back and press harder and make areas darker, just like that. If I wanted to layer in this picture, again, I would outline and then fill in my area. And instead of making an area lighter and then darker, layering would just mean that I put 2 colors on top of each other, just like that. So that's your major difference. Now, using a color on the side means that you have a peeled crayon. You lay it like it's sleeping on the paper, and you hold it with 2 fingers and you push. And you can do that right next to each other, and it helps color in a large area quickly. The next one we're going to learn about is texture rubbing. So there are things all around you that have different textures. Here's something, it's a little basket from my pencil container that has a bumpy texture. Or I can look at the top of my crayon box and see that it has a circular texture. What I can do is put my paper on top of that surface that has a texture lay a crayon on its side that's unpeeled and push. And look at that. It now shows that circular texture underneath. I could try a different one on the back of my paper. So I put the paper on top, hold it with my helper hand, lay the crayon flat, and push. I need to make sure I keep my paper still and steady. And look at that. We now can see that texture. So those are your crayon techniques. If you have any questions, let me know.